told me we had 5 minutes.
I guess I was wrong.
1961. We're back in Philly again with a new musical. We Take the Town, about Pancho Villa. That was the hat, right? One of my favorite roles ever. He had 29 wives. Did you know that? Can you imagine? All right, I'm going. I am a happy-go-lucky fellow, very fun-loving, that's my way. After the business of all the fighting comes the business of loving. Hey, you are looking at the Prince of Romance, and I got nothing else to do. So tonight I think I get married, and I think I marry you. I am a great lover of the beauty. It is something I can't control. I have a very artistic nature and a pretty goddamn deep soul. I like the women, they soft and smell nice, and you all darling girls is blue. So tonight I think I get married, and I think I marry you. I believe you are teasing me. I am a very big thirsty drinker. You are wine bottles on the shelf. I think you all are pretty hot numbers, and I'm pretty hot number myself. I tell you what I think this one. She is some good looker, and she cute too. It is a very damn hard decision, but I think I marry you. I got trouble. You want some? Oh, I could spend the whole night undressing you. It's not you sleep on top or bottom. You are a lady from the ground up. Sorry, I didn't realize. Shall I kill him for you? Yoo-hoo! Tonight I think I get married, and I think I marry you. One of my favorite roles ever. We got rave reviews in New Haven. That's the thing that killed us in Philly. You see, because of the good reviews, the producers refused to rewrite the show. And it died. It never made it to New York. This is a big deal, you must understand. In 1961, Broadway musicals got the same national attention as Major League Baseball. I think I did the best work I've ever done in We Take the Town, but nobody saw it. And the script was never published. Scripts. They're the lifeblood of an actor. And if it's in the script, you've got to do it. Everything, the words and what's behind the words has got to come out. If it's not written well, you see, words are just symbols on a page. They're just things. Hamlet is a collection of words on pages. He's a compilation of symbols, but to an actor. Words are as much like people as they are like things. And finding the right expression for those words, that's the job of an actor. Mark Twain said, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and the lightning bug. Bug. Small word, but it makes a big difference, huh? You see, small words spoken with simple conviction are more powerful than big words spouted in empty platitudes. Simple speech is the staff of life. That's why in the old days, a man's word was supposed to be as good as gold. A man's word was an expression of his integrity, a testament to his character. Oh, those days are dead and... What? Oh, Catherine. I remember my vows. I do, that's all I have to say. I do, I say it every day. I did, I did it way back when. I said it at the altar and I'll say it once again. I do, how easily it's said. I wonder what would happen if I said I don't instead. Just kidding, Jew. A man and a woman are meant for each other, are meant for each other as husband and wife. From this moment forward, I promise to love thee, I promise to love thee the rest of my life. Together, forever, forever together, for this is the promise you give. Together, forever, forever together, through all of the sorrow and happiness. Together, as long as you live. I'm not afraid to show Catherine a side I won't show to other people. She doesn't always want to see it, but she feels it's best for me to get my tensions out at home. That's when I need to work it out. But I need your help. In 1963, President Kennedy started the Presidential Fitness Program. Who remembers that? He asked Hollywood to provide a tune to promote it. Meredith Willson responded and wrote a little ditty that was used in gym classes all across the country. Who remembers that? Who remembers an invigorating little tune they used to work out to? Well, I sang it. Suddenly, teenagers across our country were working out to me, singing on a 45. All right, now I need a couple of good sports. How about some lights out here? I need a couple of volunteers. Why, ladies and gentlemen, I have found them. Come with me, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a hand, everybody. Come on. Oh, you're really great. Come on. There you go. Take your time. Take your time. There we go. Follow me. Oh, this is going to be so worth the price of admission. All these steps. Here we go. Very good. Very good. You too, sir. Strapping young man. And come right over here, man. Now just do what I do. You stand over here so you don't smack her. Good. Do what I do. Or better yet, do what I say. Ready? Here we go. And touchdown. Every morning, 10 times, not just now and then. Give that chicken fat back to the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken again. Very good. All right. Push-ups. Here we go. Let's go. Push-up. And up. Every morning, 10 times. Push-up. Whoa. Here we go. Come on, let's go. Up and touchdown. Every two. Down. Up we go. Up, down, up, down. Stand up. Up, down, up, down. Everybody sing. Go away. Go, you chicken fat. Go. Whoa. Dismissed. Oh, hold on. Give yourselves a hand. Give my hand, ladies and gentlemen. Those people never come back. Then I realized sometimes even exercise wouldn't always quiet the voices in my head or the voice of my wife. That's when I discovered Scotch. God bless the human elbow. God bless it where it bends. If it bent too long, we'd be dry, I fear. If it bent too short, we'd be drinking through our ear. But it bends just right in the middle of the arm, not too loose, not too tight, as we lean on it each night, with a well-oiled kind of charm, with a well-oiled Then we point man and boy as its wonders we employ to that luckily knuckling anatomical joy. Still in part 4 of my career, riding the roller coaster of fame and glory. You know, I sort of expect things to succeed. I'm surprised when they don't. But every time I'm tempted to get smug, I remember the experience of being in an all-star revival of George Bernard Shaw's Too True to Be Good in 1963. It was a large cast, including Sarah Richard, Lillian Gish, and Glynis Johns. And we were all in it for very little money, so we decided just to run it for 12 weeks. They advertised limited engagement, 12 weeks only. We ran 10. Oh, I'm in stitches. Then in December, a delight came my way, a little-known play. Well, little known now, but it was a big hit then. Nobody Loves an Albatross. It was my first time working with director Gene Saks. It was the last thrill before I was thrown from the coaster cars as the tracks collapsed beneath me. The most important thing in my life was about to change. Anyway, I've always been the resilient sort. Making the movie of The Music Man was great fun. Shirley Jones was pregnant when we were filming the footbridge scene, but only she and the director knew it. I put my hand on her waist, felt this jolt, jerked back, and said, "What the hell was that?" Turns out the baby kicked my hand. Well, Albatross was a big hit. I said that. The movie of The Music Man was a big hit too. Yes, sirree, Bob, things were looking up. What do you do?
Just keeping you honest.
Don't you think I know what's in
You don't have a choice.
Tell me that. I can edit my own life story for Christ's sake.
Act 2, page 6.
I don't care what they think. I don't care what she says.
Catherine is not the villain.
And I am. You think I had it coming, don't you? Romantic love is not the villain here either. Where would we be without romance, without infatuation, without
Infidelity?
There's more to my life than that. They came to hear about my story.
You've got to, it's in the script, you've got to do it.
I don't have a choice. This is not what I want. Ben Franklin in Paris, 1964. I played old Ben. He shaved my head for the role. My wife didn't want me to take this part, remember? She didn't want me playing old men's roles while I was still agile. Wait 10 years, she said. Nobody makes my decisions for me, except, of course, my piano player. Yeah, it's like I've always said. A spouse is somebody who sticks with you through troubles you wouldn't have had if you hadn't been married in the first place. In 1776, Ben Franklin went to Versailles to talk Louis XVI into helping the colonies by providing money and arms. But first, he had to win French recognition of the American Revolutionary forces. Old Ben does get to see Louis. He charms his way into the king's court via the king's courtesan, Diane. However, Ben and Diane, you see, go way back. Fate knows one rule of playwriting. Character A. My life is perfect as long as I don't see character B. Enter character B. May I introduce the king's courtesan, Diane. In real life, the actress Ulla Solent, also the Baroness von Comte from Sweden, married to the Baron. lover. What was the attraction? She was married, that made it easy. I was married, that made it safe. She had something going for her that was more than the sum of her parts, and the parts she had were glorious. She was the kind of woman I felt could teach me a thing or two. Like Mark Twain said, a man who carries a cat by the tail learns something he can learn in no other way. And then something happened that I didn't count on. For the first time in my life, I got my foot caught in the door. You see, Ula was an enigma, my Stonehenge, different than all the others. Not only was she my lover, she had become my muse. The Daily News. Ben Franklin Preston counsels wife to fly kite and dates Ula. Don't you just love the dry wit of the press? The New York Post. Prestons break up a long-run marriage. The Robert Prestons are calling it quits after nearly 23 years of marriage. We've never made headlines before. No rumors of marital discord ever. It's the way we've always been. Quiet couple. Of the separation, Preston said, and this time it's final. But a spokesman close to Preston said,
There are absolutely no plans at the moment for a divorce. And I rather doubt there will be any.
oh, you are wrong. Romantic love must run its course.
We thought the last one was a permanent separation. And then they got back together again.
Did I mention we've been separated before?
Preston commented.
You can't keep going back and forth, it gets confusing. Catherine is just as dear as she ever was, but I should have known better. You just can't patch things up after such a big break. At their home upstate, Mrs. Preston, asked about the reason for the split, said, you speak to Mr. Preston about that, would you? When your wife decides that she should wear the pants, when she puts you down each time she gets the chance, then, my dear, it's clear the honeymoon is over, and you'd better search for some romance. Time you saw your old trusty lawyer, ask him whether you should find another nest together. But then, my dear, it's clear the honeymoon is over, and you may as well play the scene out, hit the climax, make your exit, pull the curtain, pack up, move out, tell her, darling, together forever looks more like it's never. Fare thee well. Go to hell. What shall I say of thee, Diane? Shall I say that like unto a shop of pretty things Diane is? Like unto a palace full of kings, a solid year of springs? Diane is, like unto a shelf of books, a looking glass of looks, a cottage filled with secret nooks. My Diane is, my Diane is, my Diane is so. But if she never shares this wealth that is her love, never ever dares it to tie a simple knot, then likely too is the shop to close, the town to doze, the year to fly, the glass to lie, the shelf to turn, the cottage to burn. Which brings Diane to lonely evenings. Diane, who once was likened to a shop of pretty things. Yeah, it takes an old dog to appreciate a caress.
Ben Franklin, right? Well, here's another one. Let thy maidservant be faithful, strong, and holy.
Oh, who asked you?
You did. To tell you when I thought you were making a mistake.
That was on stage.
All the world's a stage.
Don't
and
quote
we-
Shakespeare to... All right. To quote the immortal bard myself, proclaim no shame when compulsive ardor gives the charge.
Have you no shame?
Shame is an unhappy emotion invented by pietists in order to exploit the human race.
Who said that?
I said that.
You don't believe in shame?
I believe in happiness.
All right. Monsieur Franklin once again. To err is human, to repent divine, to persist devilish. The discontented man finds no easy chair.
Enough.
One more. Who has deceived thee so oft as thyself?
Ouch. Never ever play leapfrog with a unicorn. Ben Franklin in Paris, closed after 6 months. Ulla went back to her husband in Sweden. It was the last time I saw her. Every bit turns to shit. I don't play the cast recording much either. There's a lesson here somewhere. Never let your sense of morals interfere with doing the right thing.
After the battle.
Is learning to smile, to hold out your chest, to lift up your chin. Half the battle is picking up the pieces, starting over again. Half the battles, be true to your style, in trouble to jest, to toughen your skin. Half the battle is rising in defiance with the cry, I never give in. They can think they've got me beaten, they can knock me down, but I'll climb up off the floor, just as long as I can keep alive the will to clown. Well, they've won the battle, hell, they haven't won the war. Half the battle's that one extra mile. Can you meet the test? Then where is that grin? Half the battle, tuck it in your pocket, and you know then somehow you'll win. You know then somehow you'll win. I learned quite a few things from old Ben. For example, a sleeping fox catches no poultry. And a little neglect may breed mischief. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. A small stray step can make a monumental difference. Catherine should have packed up and moved on. Lord knows she deserved better than I was ever willing to give her. But she didn't. What do you say, Kay? Yes, we may as well stay married now. Why not? Oh, you're not the all-time perfect spouse. So what? Least I know your every action, and that gives me satisfaction. Know just when you choose to use the bathroom mirror. Take it, honey. She never could whistle. Yes, we may as well stay married now. Yes, we may as well stay married now. Sounds fair, though I know we'll have another row. Don't care, on life's bumpy path to passion, matrimony's still in fashion. Yes, we may as well stay married. Yes, we may as well stay married. Yes, we may as well stay married. how many illegitimate children in his wake while composing his salubrious proverbs. Illegitimate children. Our founding fathers are aptly named. Catherine and I couldn't have one legitimate one. I never gave her a child. The truth was I couldn't give her a child, but I didn't want to admit that. I think that's partly why I cheated on her, to prove it was her fault, but it was mine. We were old too soon and smart too late. But for now, I was king of the world again. Or at least the king of England. In my next role on Broadway, I played Henry II. Rosemary Harris played my wife Eleanor in The Lion in Winter. As my queen, she was kept in a tower in England until Christmas every year. Well, I suppose that's one way to avoid marital discord.
Oh, it's convenient.
If you could find a castle. Catherine and I moved to our Dublin Hill Road estate in Greenwich, Connecticut. And I gave up theater. Rosemary Harris got excellent reviews for The Lion in Winter. I barely got mentioned. I was in my early 50s, no longer young enough to know everything, too old to take the world by storm. So I retired. Quote, then a final time. When the well's gone dry, you feel the worth of water.
The eye still has a glint. You do not walk, you sprint.
And when I love, there's rhythm and there's flow. Not a word from either of you. I am a lover still.
No, it's a bit uphill.
It's always uphill, kid. I am the youngest person that I know. And the security comes with maturity. I have the ladies waiting in a row. There are some younger guys who still can't find their flies. I am the most amazing person, and the youngest person that I know. Young enough still to be wanted. You see, David Merrick, the Broadway impresario and producer of such hits as Stop the World, I Want to Get Off, Oliver, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Hello Dolly, had an idea for a new musical, and he called me. I said no. I said no for 1.5 years. Merrick wanted me to come out of retirement for this new musical, but after I'd said no for so long, he finally started looking for somebody else. Gower Champion was slated to direct. Mary Martin was already on board. Now, Mary and I had worked together in her first film 25 years earlier and had had a wonderful time. She said she would do the new musical, but only with me. Well, one night, she and her husband Richard and Gower Champion were all sitting around commiserating when all of a sudden, David Merrick burst into the room and said, "I've got Bob Preston." To this day, Mary doesn't know how he did it, and neither David nor I will tell her. But I'll tell you. You see, Merrick had heard there was going to be a party for a friend of mine, knew I'd be there, so he showed up. Again, he asked me to do the show. Again, I said no. 3 times he asked me. Finally, I said, David, I don't need an agent or a lawyer to represent me. I just want what Mary gets. I got it. But I felt a little like Caesar refusing the crown. The original title for the show was Man and Wife, but the public came to know it as I Do, I Do. Wrong show, bucko. Oh, he's a riot, isn't he? Tom Jones and Harvey Schmidt, who wrote the music to the Fantastics, created the score for I Do, I Do. It was a 2-character piece that followed a young married couple through their lives together to old age.
Just like this show.
Only, we're not a couple.
Oh, sure seems like it, though.
He said a mouthful. I Do, I Do opened on December 6, 1966, with one of the smallest casts ever in a Broadway musical and played to absolutely capacity houses for more than a year. Mary and I had no understudies, no standbys. It's the toughest thing I've ever done, with 3 costume changes made right there on stage. but it was also the most joyful show I've ever experienced. And I won my second Tony for I Do, I Do. That felt good, being back on top of it, knowing you still appreciated me. Sometimes in the morning, when shadows are deep, I lie there beside you, just watching you sleep. And sometimes I whisper what I'm thinking of. My cup runneth over with love. After we closed on Broadway, we went on tour. Mary and Richard and Kay and I, we had a marvelous time together, didn't we, darling? It's the only time I've ever toured a show, and that's because Mary Martin loves to tour. Well, all I can say about touring is what Larry Gelbart said. If Hitler's still alive, I hope he's out of town with a musical. Part 5, Hollywood Revisited, where the back door opens again. Suddenly, in the 70s, I was popular again on the West Coast. I also went back to Broadway for a big old flop of a musical about silent movie maker Max Sennett and his tempestuous relationship with Mabel Normand. Mac and Mabel, Bernadette Peters and I were magnificent. Loved the score. Hated the script.
You once said that a good actor can make a bad script interesting.
Well, I was wrong, wasn't I? Next, Lucille Ball and I made the movie of Mame. Enough said about that. I did many more films, some for the big screen, some for television, too numerous to mention. But I did get to play an alien in The Last Starfighter. But never mind. I still had one good run on Broadway left. In 1977, I replaced the star in a show called Sly Fox. He'd been in it for 2 months, and that was enough for him. So I went back to Broadway in a role created by George C. Scott. It was a good move. I got better reviews than he did. Oh, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese.
I like cheese.
And now, folks, you have a delightful surprise coming to you. A tribute to one of my favorite films ever. I've been lucky. I've worked 3 times on stage and twice now in films with gals who could do it all. I mean, Mary Martin, Barbara Cook, Bernadette Peters, and now, Julie Andrews. Everything I ad-libbed, Julie was right there, including this dance number from Victor Victoria, printed on the very first take. Music, maestro, please. Now, Jules, try and keep up, don't be scared. Here we go. You and me, we're the kind of people other people would like to be. Wandering free, we present the kind of picture people would like to see. And we don't care that tomorrow comes with no guarantee. We've each other for company. And come what may, you and me will stay together year after year. Won't we, my dear? We'll always be you and me. When you find out how a guy moves on the dance floor, you find out how he walks down the stairs out in the street. While we were filming, Julie never took her eyes off me. She was watching me to see what fellas do. I said, look, I'm gonna play gay, don't look at me for fellas. And we don't care that tomorrow comes with no guarantee. We've each other for company. Somebody asked me why I don't swing my hips more in the movie. I said, no coward never minced except to make a point. Never. Year after year, won't we, my dear? We'll always that's your every kind. Now, as an encore, I'd like to do a little ditty from my youth and the end of my career. There was a man named Michael Finnegan. He had whiskers on his chin again. Shaved them off, but they grew back in again. Poor old Michael Finnegan. Begin again. Do you know Auguste Dupin? You ever heard of him? He's a Poe character, Edgar Allan. He's the detective in the murders in the Rue Morgue. He's more ingenious even than Sherlock Holmes. Well, Dupin used a process to solve his crimes that Poe called ratiocination. It's a combination of deductive powers and creative imagination. I mention it only because I also, in a limited way over the years, have developed ratiocination. For example, you are an archaeologist who has a black belt in jiu-jitsu and believes there is nothing greater than romantic love, right? Not a romantic, eh? Well, no one is as good as Dupin. Romantic love. It's as brief as a flower, but there are few stronger forces on earth. It makes reckless fools out of responsible people, and there's no protection. Even age doesn't insulate us. Why do we always expect to find the secrets of life in somebody else? Let me tell you what I did when I was your age and mired in romantic love. I was obsessed with the woman every waking hour. I used to make up lists of things I was going to say to her and then prepare beforehand how I was going to say them. I actually found myself whistling corny tunes on the street. I couldn't eat or sleep. I neglected my wife, my job. I was a selfish bastard and an emotional mess. Everything turned to shit. That's romantic love. Only with time and patience do we regain sanity and a sense of proportion. Only then do we discover that romance is cotton candy. Real love. It's what you do for each other. Catherine taught me that. We filmed Finnegan Begin Again in 6 weeks in Virginia in late summer. It's a touching and funny story of a May-December romance. Mary Tyler Moore and I were the improbable couple. During a break in the film,